Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Welcome back to the Infowars Nightly News. I'm your host, Rob Dew. If you feel so inclined, please consider following me on Twitter. It's @DewsNews. You can read it right there. Now, I just got back from a trip with Alex Jones going to Europe. Spent a couple days in the UK. Went to Barcelona, Spain, which I shot some amazing drone footage there. Then to Valencia, and then ended up for Rome in a week. And it was very, very hot. Thank goodness Rome has some fountains. Here's the article here. And I'll get to more why this is relevant. The Nasoni, Rome's ubiquitous public fountains, your best ally against thirst in the eternal city. In the world today, few things are free, even water, the definitive gift from nature. Many are familiar with Rome's famous fountains, but few seem to realize that the water coming from the fountains is not only free, but clean and drinkable. So when you're in Rome, be sure to take a sip from the waters of the eternal city. There you can see right there, that is the Fountain del Gianicoli, which stands for the fountain on Janiculum Hill, which is a great view overlooking the city just across the Tiber River. So this water comes from a giant aquifer and goes to many fountains. There's about 2,500 fountains. There you can see right there, that's our tour guide that me and Alex had, and you're gonna see Alex actually take a drink from these. Everywhere, these things are everywhere. And as long as the water's running out of that spigot, you can wash your hair or splash some in your face down in the basin, but then you can actually drink out of the hose in there. And it's a cast iron hose. There, Nasoni stands for nose, which you can see that one kind of looks like a nose. That's a fountain actually near the Colosseum where people were drinking. Here's one in a park. It was really run down park, but the pigeons were getting water, and then here comes a local immigrant, and you can see how trashy the park is. Rome is kind of falling into decay, and he's even, washing his hands and getting a drink. And it's just amazing. There's about 2,500 of these all over the city. They provide free water for people. The water in Rome is actually free. This last fountain here is the Fontana de Pantheon, which is the fountain right in front of the Pantheon, as they say it. They say in Rome, the Pantheone. So, and which is actually the site of this next report that I shot on and uploaded it over the weekend. And the great thing about the water in Rome is that there's no chlorine in it and there's no fluoride in it. They don't need to do it because it's always moving. It doesn't ever sit in storage tanks. It's never in a spot where it could spoil. So it really is probably some of the cleanest water you could drink in the world. And I proved that by drinking it in this next report. Rob Dew here with Infowars.com. I am standing in front of the Pantheon, or as they say in Rome, Pantheone. I was corrected by the limo, or the taxi driver, I should say. There's a ton of taxi drivers here, but you got to get them at the taxi stations, or call them. Really interesting way to get around. You can also get a bus that'll take you around all the monuments for about 18 euros. But that's not why I'm making this video. If you notice behind me, there's a fountain. There's the obelisk up there. A lot of obelisks in Rome. They say there's more obelisks in Rome than in Egypt. But what's interesting about this fountain is where the water is. And look, you can see some people even drinking the water. And when in Rome, excuse me, sir, you just put your So the water comes from out of the mountains. Romans used to bring it here in aqueducts, but you can actually drink this water. It's crystal clear, doesn't have chlorine, doesn't have fluoride, and it's really cold and really refreshing. Amazing, because it's super hot here in Rome, caldo, as they say, and so this is one way to beat the heat. They have these fountains all over the place. I've watched other people drink out of them, and until I went on a tour with a pretty informative tour guide, I didn't believe that you could drink out of them, or that you should, but he goes, no, I do it all the time. And so he was drinking out of them, so I said, all right, fine, I'll do it. Anyway, bottoms up from Rome. This is our last day. We're going to be back in the United States tomorrow. Shot an amazing interview with Leo Zagami. He's a Vatican Secret Society researcher, author, a bit of an insider. He knows a lot of people in there, a lot of the Vatican Guard. We shot a video right out in front of St. Peter's, and actually the cops showed up pretty quickly, after about 15 minutes, and kicked us out. And he showed us some other places that are also little sovereign states here inside Rome. It's not just Vatican City. There's some other Jesuit type places that are here. So we'll have all that. We're going to be putting that together in a video interview. And with that, there's a last view of the fountain right there. And here's another look at the Pantheon. And it's caldo, so when in Rome, drink the water. Rob Dew for Infowars.com. So I drank in about 15 fountains in Rome in different parts. The last one, my final cab driver took me to. He insisted on taking me to a few nice places. He saw that I was a photographer, and he was unlike any of the other cab drivers, but he took me to this one, and it was the coldest I had drank since I was there. It was amazingly cold. It came out of a giant rock, and from that rock, there were 2 Nessone spigots coming out, and man, it was great, great water. I want to thank that cab driver. I wish I could remember his name, but anyway, moving on from water to something that's not so good to drink, even if it is who knows what's in it, but it's Coca-Cola. In fact, the New York Times just came out with an article, Coca-Cola funds scientists who shift blame from obesity away from bad diet. So it's not calories that you need to worry about, you just need to have more exercise. And here's the problem with Coca-Cola and drinks like that. It's not just the dyes, it's not just the sugary high fructose corn syrup that's in there. It's everything else that gets in your body. I mean, they've done studies where you could put a rusty nail inside a jar of Coca-Cola and it eats away the rust. People use it as a cleaning solution. This is some strong stuff. Yet Coca-Cola is now funding some science that wants to move away from, hey, don't worry about calories, just exercise a lot. In fact, you could drink 10 Cokes a day, and as long as you run a couple miles, you're gonna be fine. Let me tell you, there's a lot of other side effects that go along with drinking a lot of Coca-Cola. And I just want to read the first part of this article here from the New York Times. Coca-Cola, the world's largest producer of sugary beverages, is backing a new science-based solution to the obesity crisis. To maintain a healthy weight, get more exercise and worry less about cutting calories. So they are definitely serious about wanting to push more Coke on people. And with that, we have Leanne McAdoo with more on Coca-Cola and how much they want you to drink.
Forget about curbing junk food, just get more exercise. That's the biased message coming out of some Coca-Cola-funded obesity research. The megacorporation is under fire for donating millions of dollars to a nonprofit that's been spreading this message in medical journals and through social media.
Most of the focus in the popular media and in the scientific press is, oh, they're eating too much, blaming fast food, blaming sugary drinks, and so on. And there's really virtually no compelling evidence that in fact is a cause.
The Global Energy Balance Network says there is strong evidence that the key to preventing weight gain isn't about reducing food intake, but maintaining an active lifestyle and eating more calories. To back up this claim, they provide links to 2 research papers, each of which contain this footnote. The publication of this article was supported by the Coca-Cola Company. The creators of GEBN say they just wanted to raise awareness about both sides of the energy balance equation. The group disclosed that they'd received an unrestricted education gift from Coca-Cola. So clearly, the Global Energy Balance Network is nothing more than a front group meant to deflect attention away from recent studies about sugary drinks and their link to obesity and type 2 diabetes. This clash comes in a period of rising efforts to tax sugary drinks, remove them from schools, and stop companies from marketing them to children. As people have learned about the effects of sugary drinks, consumption levels have dropped by 25%. But does funding research lead to bias? Well, a recent analysis of beverage studies found that those funded by Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, the American Beverage Association, and the sugar industry were 5 times more likely to find no link between sugary drinks and weight gain than studies without financial conflicts. You might find this a little bit reminiscent of the tactics used by the tobacco industry. They enlisted experts to become merchants of doubt about the health hazards of smoking. And you've probably heard that aspartame causes cancer, even though it's FDA approved. However, PepsiCo just removed the artificial sweetener from Diet Pepsi, suggesting there's something iffy about it. And let's not forget how one provocateur, using valid study results, was able to fool some reporters into writing that chocolate aids weight loss. So how can we trust junk food science? Be smart, be skeptical, and the bottom line, the best foods that are out there for our health and for our weight, for everything, need no scientific claims.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system or call 1-888-253-3139.